Welcome. In this video we're going to put together the ideas from the input video and the conditionals video and make a guessing game. So we're going to have a character tell us he's thinking of a number between 1 and 1,000, pick a random number, and then ask us to guess it. And eventually we'll get it so that he keeps giving us hints until we get it correctly. For now we're going to start simple. He says his message. I want him to pick a random number. And so we've got a pick random, which I can use to pick a random number from 1 to 1,000. So there's some random numbers. And I need him to remember it. So if I need him to remember something, that's a variable. Let's call this secret number. Seems to be a good name for it. And so we'll have him set secret number to whatever he picks, and then tell us he's thinking of a number. Then he can ask us to guess his number and wait for us to type something in. We know that whatever we put will be in the built-in answer variable. And so we want to decide if we're right or wrong. So that sounds like we're making a choice. We need an if-else. So our test, our condition, is going to be based on the two comparing the answer and the secret number, those two things. We want to know if they're exactly the same. So let's go to our variables tab and say if secret number equals the answer. Right, then we got it right. So we'll make that be the if part, and we'll have him say, you got it. Otherwise, we'll have him say, for now, we'll just have him say, nope. This is going to be a very hard game right now, unless we cheat. So let's try it. I can see he picked 119, so I'm going to cheat and type in 119. He compares those two and says, we got it. All right, this time let's pretend I don't see 515 there, and I'll just pick something random, 387, and nope, those two didn't match, so we got the nope message. Alright, in order to make this a little bit more doable without cheating, we need some hints. Right? If we get the answer wrong, we need to get another chance, and we need a hint about, too high or too low. So let's start by making this repeat until we get it correctly. And we can cheat until we get the hints in there. So I could just repeat this for 10 times or 100 times, but I don't know exactly how many times the user is going to guess. So that repeat block's not quite right. Forever, I don't want to keep this game going forever. Really what I want to say is keep going until we get the answer right. So the repeat until, you can see it takes a true or false, a Boolean value, and what it's going to do is it's just like the repeat, but it's not going to go a set number of times. It's going to go until something becomes true. So we have to determine what is the condition for us to stop this game. Well, the obvious condition is once I get the answer right, that's when we can be done. So we're going to kind of pull this out for a second, and I'm going to have him say, I'm thinking of a number from 1 to 1,000, ask to guess my number, and then we'll do this comparison. If it's true, then that's a sign that we're done. And so if we're done, we can say, you got it. And if we're not done, then we're going to go inside and do this. So we can have him say, nope. And let's give this a try. There's a pretty big flaw here, but let's try it out. So he's thinking of a number. He asks us to guess it. I'm going to guess 1, 2, 3. And he says, nope. And nope. And nope. And I can see the script is still running because it's highlighted in white, and he just keeps saying nope, nope. I'm going to kill it. So kind of thinking about what happened, we guessed we were wrong. So repeat until, we did not have the right answer, so we have to do this. He says nope. And the only stuff that gets repeated is what's inside here. So we never got a chance to make a new guess. All right, so this repeat until got stuck in what's called an infinite loop. So what we have to be careful of is what things do I want to repeat. So I'm going to duplicate the guess and put it here. So now the game's going to start. He'll pick his number. He says, I'm thinking of a number. He'll ask us to make a guess. And then we're going to repeat this process until we get it right. Say no and ask for a new guess. And once we finally get it, then we'll bail out and say, you got it. So I'm thinking of a number from 1 to 1,000. 1, 2, 3. No. All right, let's try 5, 4, 3. Nope. I'm going to cheat now. I see it's 187. And so that finally gets us out of the repeat until. So you can think of the repeat until as kind of like an if statement, only it's going to keep going until this becomes true. It's going to keep executing stuff inside. For us, there's no else to the repeat until, but our kind of alternative is once we're done, then we're going to go on and do whatever instructions come after it. All right, so at this point we've got a game that we could play. If we hide the secret number, this is going to be still really hard. So we're going to add some hints. Instead of just saying nope, I want to give a better hint. I want to either say too low. We could do, you're cold or warm, but too low and too high are going to be a lot more helpful. So I'm going to make a too low, too high. And so I want to compare them. If the secret number is less than the answer, right, or let's switch this around. If my answer is less than the secret number, then that means I was too low. Okay, so that fits together. If it didn't fit together right, if it didn't logically make sense, we might have to swap the if and the else. But if my answer is less than his secret number, my guess was too low. And so that'll be my hint. And so let's put that in. And instead of the nope, we're going to take the nope out and give the hint. So if we get it wrong, until we get it right, decide are we too low or too high and say that. And then let us take another guess. So I'm thinking of a number from 1 to 100. And we're going to, since we know about binary search, we're going to apply that technique. I'm going to start with 500. He tells me too high. All right, so I'm going to try 250. He tells me that's too low. Okay, so I'm going to cut in half again and try 375. That's too high. All right, so halfway between 250 and 375. I'm just going to seat of the pants it. Let's try 323. That's too low. So now I'm kind of between 323 and 375. Let's try 350. Still too low. So I know between 350 and 375. So let's try 362. Too low. So between 362 and 375. Halfway between those, more or less. Let's try 369. Too high. And we could keep narrowing it down until eventually we get the right answer and get the you got it. Right, I could do this process without the secret number showing. And if I do the binary search, I was just kind of doing seat of my pants calculations, and I wasn't doing it perfectly. But if every time I exactly cut the space in half, I should be able to get this in 10 guesses. So let's keep track of how many guesses it takes. So to what we've already got, we need to add a new piece of information. We need to keep track of how many times I've made a guess. So a new piece of information, right? That's a new variable. So let's make a variable. I'm going to call it guesses. And I want to make sure that when we start the game, he says that, he asks guess my number, so that kind of counts as my first guess. So right after that, I'm going to set guesses to be 1. Alright, and when I'm done, he's going to tell me you got it. And then I'll have him say, it took blank guesses, I want to say. So the way I've got to build that up would be with a join. So let's try that again and say, it took blank, and now I can use my guesses variable. So if I guessed it right now, it would be 0 guesses. If I actually want to put the word guesses there, I'll have to do that too. So let's see, let's put guesses. So this looks a little weird. It took guesses, but guesses is a placeholder for whatever number is in that variable. Right? That's a variable name. Whereas this guesses is just the piece of text. So it took 0 guesses. So we'll have him report back when we're done. I'm going to turn the cheating back on for a second and try this out. I'm thinking of a number from 1 to 100. If I guess it right away, he tells me you got it. It took 1 guesses. My variables end up stacked on top of each other. These move around, so I'm going to move the secret number out of the way so we can see all the information. There's still one issue. He's thinking of a number. I guess it wrong. And now I'm going to guess it right, 252. He thinks it only took me 1 guess, which that's obviously not right. And the reason it's not right is because when we make our first guess, we set guesses to 1. But then every time I make another guess, we never change guesses. So if we want to modify the existing value, that's the perfect spot for change guesses by 1, which remember says increase the value by 1. So every time we come in here, we're going to increase the number of guesses we've made. So let's try it out. I guess 1, 2, 3. He says too low. Asks me to guess again. I'm going to guess 1, 2, 3 again, because I'm really not good at this game. We increase the guesses by 2. He gives me the hint again. I'm going to guess way too high. He says too high. Increases my guesses. And so we've got a running count of how many times I've gone through here and had a chance to make a new guess. And so let's this time go ahead and get it right. And I got it in 4 guesses. Kind of good practice doing the binary search idea is you should be able to build this script, run it, and even without cheating and looking at the secret number, you should be able to get the correct answer in 10 guesses or less.